It looks like CM Punk is coming back to AEW, and it's closer than you think. Let's talk about it. So most of you who watch the channel know I don't really do that whole breaking news thing. I would never call myself a journalist, but this story is huge. Sean Ross Sapp over at Fightful Select has gone and reported that CM Punk's return may be closer than you think. We do have to preface this, just like they have, that things can change and this might not be set in stone, but this is the hottest report that we can possibly speak about right now. Let's read what they said. Fightful Select had been getting hints after April 12th's report that Punk wanted to come back to AEW that wheels were already in motion. We were told shortly before the announcement of Chicago at Wintrust Arena that the June 21st episode of Dynamite would be interesting and a date to look out for. What we've learned since then is as of April 13th, which is today at the time of recording, the working plan has been for CM Punk to return at that show, or at the very least around it. There were also pictures of announcing it well ahead of time, even around the Warner upfronts, which are May 17th. Well, because it's Sean Ross Sapp, I would not be shocked to say that CM Punk will be coming back in Chicago, or like he says, at the very best around it. It only makes sense to be Chicago. It's kind of interesting that all this has been happening in this past week, where we've heard stories from Dax Harwood saying that he wants to come back, and even the rumors that Punk was due to come back. Fightful then goes on to say, those that we've spoken to confirm that Punk has been hoping to work with Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, but we've heard of no contact between the two sides. The last we'd heard, the Elite were not keen on the possibility of working with him. Shock right there. AEW sources indicated that Punk had been trying to push for a meeting between everyone for a while, but we haven't heard if any progress has been made. It's worth noting that the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega are in the middle of negotiating new contracts with AEW. But I feel with these contract signings, Tony Khan is going to push this meeting. It's big money, CM Punk dealing with the Elite. Obviously, Wembley Stadium's coming up for All in London, and what a perfect main event, but CM Punk and FTR versus the Elite. You know that'll put butts in seats, and Tony Khan wants to sell out Wembley. We all know he does. We all want him to as well. And as good as a match like Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega is, when you've got a shoot that you can send to work, if it was a shoot in the first place and wasn't just a thing they did because Punk was injured, it would make big money. And you know eyes would be on the product. Now, we all know the Bucks would never want to work with Punk again after all that happened at Brawl Out. Kenny, I could see wanting to build bridges in some professional manner. Also, another thing worth noting that they said is we're told that there is also a meeting being planned between CM Punk and Chris Jericho, who have had numerous issues in the past, to see if the two working together is a possibility. Now, this could just be them working backstage together, or this could be a program. Not exactly a program I think myself and many others would want to see. I mean, Chris Jericho and CM Punk were bought into the company to help big up new talent. Having two basically old guys colliding, I don't think there's much good going to happen there. When you could have Punk against Darby again, you could have Punk against Jungle Boy, any of the four pillars, to be honest, that would be awesome. It's probably going to lead to MJF in the end, true, but all in all, Punk versus Jericho does not seem that appealing, so I hope it's just more in a backstage manner, which could also tie into the next part, which says there's been a lot of traction within Warner Brothers Discovery about an impending announcement of a primetime Saturday show being designed for a bit of a soft roster split to accommodate the preferences of talent who wanted to stay separate of the particular situations. Although talent hasn't been informed of that, the talent have spoken and heard the discussions of a new show, but haven't heard anything about Punk's possible impending return. Now, this could be AEW Collision, the show we've heard about potentially going on the Saturday, as said in this report. Having a soft roster split would not do anything bad to AEW. There is too many people on the roster, as has been said about all the YouTube channels and all the Twitters you've all read. Separating the roster off, especially for pro-Punk guys and anti-Punk guys, would be fantastic. Also, keeping the Elite and Punk apart would also be really good for business. I guess this might be why they're talking to Jericho as well. Having Punk on the new Saturday show and the Elite and Jericho over in Dynamite will keep all tension apart. Plus, Punk's name alone could really drag in the ratings of a new show. Potentially could even argue fight with Dynamite. As has been said, things can change. This isn't set in stone, but feel like this could be happening. And Tony Khan can make the best decision here. Put that match on at Wembley, make them hash it out, work professionally, you don't have to like each other, and have CMFTR versus the Elite. I think personally, they need to get Punk back in. AEW's been good, but it's not been great since he's gone. There's obviously the names like MJF and obviously the Elite, now they're back, that have been doing absolute wonders over there. The work with the BCC and the Elite at the moment is fantastic television, but it's not at the same level as when Punk was there. Bringing him back would do so many things for the roster. So many people still want to work with him, regardless they might not believe in how he reacted at Brawl Out. Having the chance to work with a guy like him can do so much for your career, and he was always willing to help people. It would be interesting to see how someone like Hangman Page would react to Punk coming back to the company as well. I mean, we all know a lot of this really stemmed from him going into his own. I'm really excited to see what happens. I feel like we're going to know a bit more in the coming weeks, so we will keep check on the channel. What are your opinions on CM Punk potentially coming back into the company? Do you want him to? Do you think he should just quit and go back to doing what he was doing before, which was essentially nothing? And some movies, I guess. Thank you for joining me on this random news report. I've never done one of these. Ooh, this might be a thing if I can get the chance to. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you soon.